Prophetic revelation. 40 days until a divine transformation manifests. Heavenly blessings await. The words echoed through the quaint village, reverberating off the stone cottages with thatched roofs. Mary, a devoted mother with a heart full of love and faith, clutched her wooden rosary tightly, her heart racing. Could this be the answer to her prayers? The aroma of freshly baked scones wafted through the air as she stood at the church doors, a sanctuary that promised hope and healing. Under the soft glow of flickering candles, Pastor James spoke with a voice so powerful it could move mountains. In just 40 days, he proclaimed, "We will see the hand of God. Miracles are upon us." Mary felt every word pierce through her troubles, igniting a spark of hope deep within her. Her son, Jacob, was a fragile shell of the boy he once was, trapped in a battle with illness. But these words, they promised to change. They whispered of healing and transformation. Days passed, and Mary embraced her role as an intercessor, rallying the villagers to the village hall for daily prayer sessions. She urged them to join her, weaving the memory of their local patron saint, St. George, into their prayers. "Stand with me," she implored. "Let us believe together." Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows of doubt crept in. "It's all wishful thinking," murmured Mrs. Turner, her brows knit together. "We need to rely on science, not fairy tales." Thomas, Mary's husband, shared similar sentiments, his skepticism etched across his face, leaving Mary feeling vulnerable and questioned. "Love, don't you see? This is our chance, can't you feel it?" she whispered, eyes brimming with tears. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. But the heaviness of doubt lingered even more fiercely as days wore on. As the countdown reached the final 10 days, despair almost consumed Mary. Just when she thought giving up was the only option, miracles began to unfold. Young Oliver, from a neighboring family who suffered similarly, was dramatically healed. With one joyful shout, he leapt from his bed, dancing in the streets, his laughter ringing through the village like angels rejoicing. The news spread, filling hearts with a spark. This could happen for Jacob, Mary marveled, the flame of hope blazing brighter than ever. Could God's promise be real? Will we see Jacob healed too? But those doubts still clung to some, whispers of what if, floated in the air as Mary prayed even harder. With only days left, Mary gathered the community once more, urging them to come together in faith. She could feel the weight of heaven's promise wrapping around her heart, yet she wondered if everyone could break free from doubt. As she looked into their eyes, it felt as if they stood on the precipice of something grand. Her village, her son, were they ready to receive the profound blessings that awaited? In that moment of uncertainty, Mary breathed in the faith surrounding her. This was not just her journey, it was theirs. Each soul carried a piece of the divine mystery, and together, they must embrace what lay ahead. Would they? As the clock ticked, anticipation filled the air, and hope fused with anxiety, leaving the village hanging on the brink of a great revelation. What would the next days bring? As the final days approached, the air crackled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Mary felt the weight of expectation pressing down on her chest. She gathered the villagers under the starlit sky, the night throbbing with anticipation. Tonight, she declared softly, her voice warm yet firm, "Let us light candles for every prayer we have spoken. Each flame represents our faith, our hopes, and our collective journey." The villagers nodded, eyes glistening with a flicker of belief. She could see the weariness etched on their faces, the shadows of doubt still lingering. But hope stirred, igniting flickers of light in their souls. As they held their candles, illuminating the darkened corners of the night, Mary led a sacred chant, a sound ringing through the village like the echo of angels' wings. With each breath, we release our fears. With each heartbeat, we proclaim our faith. She could feel the reverberations of their words taking flight, rising toward the heavens. The warmth of the flames flickered against the cool night air, and Mary raised her head towards the starlit canopy. "Lord, we place our trust in you," she breathed, tears welling in her eyes. "Let your promises unfold among us." The moment felt poignant, filled with divine potential. Then, on that very night, when despair seemed to hang most heavily, another miracle broke forth. A hush swept through the crowd as young Jacob, Mary's son, emerged from their cottage pale, fragile, yet illuminated by a newfound light in his eyes. "Mom, I feel different," he exclaimed, his voice quivering with excitement. Gasps of disbelief flooded the air. Hope soared like a newly unfurled wing. Mary rushed to him, her heart jumping. "Jacob?" she whispered, her prayerful voice barely a breath. Something happened as words poured out. I felt a warmth, like love, wrapping around me. I saw colors. I saw light. The crowd echoed his sentiments, the same joy that enveloped Jacob washing over them. What had been a hush of skepticism transformed into a cacophony of praises and hallelujahs. Yet amidst the jubilation, Mrs. Turner stepped forward, uncertainty flashing in her eyes. "It could be a fluke, or just temporary. Can we trust this feeling?" Mary turned to the woman, a fire igniting within her. "Isn't that what faith is? We believe despite uncertainty. We reach for what the eyes cannot see." Her words hung in the air, echoing in the hearts of those gathered. With each passing moment, the village began to awaken to the notion that the miraculous might just dwell within their grasp. As days counted down, the line between hope and doubt began to blur. Each day now felt like a sacred testament to their collective faith, teaching them that miracles aren't just what shines brightly, but often dwell in moments that spark within an earnest heart. With Jacob's emergence from darkness, the village cast its gaze toward the horizon. Would they find the courage to fully believe? Would they, too, embrace the blessings that a divine transformation promised? They stood on the brink of an awakening, a tipping point that could shift the very fabric of their lives. And as the final day approached, Mary found herself praying harder than ever. What would God reveal next? Would they all step into the light together, or would some still linger in the shadows? The answer loomed like a magnificent sunrise on the edge of dawn, waiting to break forth and illuminate their paths. What awaited them in this climactic hour, this moment of divine manifestation? A stir of energies filled the air as Mary watched Jacob, now radiating an essence she had never seen in him before. Joy and concern coiled within her like vines, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to unfold. The villagers surrounded them, faces alight with a desire for exploration and understanding. "Everyone," Mary called out, her voice bearing the weight of divine urgency. "Let's gather around Jacob. Let his miracle awaken the spirit within each of us." As the villagers formed a circle, the flickering candle flames danced like shimmering stars in the night. Jacob stood at the center, and Mary placed her hands gently on his shoulders, seeking to anchor his newfound fire. "We saw, my dear son, tell us more. Share this extraordinary gift with us." The crowd held its breath, their hearts synchronized in hushed anticipation. He took a deep breath, the kind that swelled with emotion. "I was frightened at first," he began, eyes wide as if still reliving the experience. "I felt as though I was lost in darkness, and then I was surrounded by warmth, like a blanket of love." His small hands gestured animatedly. "I saw brilliant colors, like a beautiful rainbow. I heard whispers of hope, saying, 'You are not alone.'" Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The fragments of their own struggles flashed before them like fading shadows. Mary caught Mrs. Turner's gaze, the doubt still evident, but now softened with intrigue. "But how can we know it's true?" Mrs. Turner's voice wobbled slightly, But the fervor in the air began to thaw her skepticism. What if this is simply a child's imagination? Imagination, yes, Mary interjected gently. But even within dreams, there lies profound truth. Remember when the little boy Samuel heard God's call? It was the same voice that stirred Jacob tonight. God speaks in many ways. We must be open to hearing. With every word uttered, the community's spirit thickened. The flickering candles reflected the dawn of belief creeping into their hearts, nudging away the shadows of doubt. Every soul craved connection. Every heart yearned for understanding. Jacob, Mary urged delicately, can you show us how we can embrace this warmth? How can we allow it to awaken our own faith and transform our lives? Jacob's expression shifted. A seriousness enveloped him. We must be brave, he stated firmly, and trust in that love. When I felt it, I wanted to share it with everyone. It filled me with joy that I couldn't contain. At that moment, something shifted in the air. A palpable energy hummed around them, vibrating with a sacred resonance that no one could ignore. The candles seemed to glow brighter, illuminating not just the night, but piercing into the very souls of those gathered. Then, with a thunderous boom, the sky above cracked, revealing a bright flash of light that split the constellations. Gasps erupted from the crowd, some fell to their knees in reverence, while others instinctively raised their hands towards the sky. Look, Mary exclaimed, her heart racing. God is signaling his presence. The divine flicker above was unlike anything they had ever witnessed. It felt like a direct bridge to heaven, sending shivers of awe through every heart. What does this mean? Asked young Samuel, his voice a mere whisper, edged with trepidation. Mary gazed into the radiant light, glimmering with promise. It means we are on the brink of divine manifestation. Our prayers have stirred response. We must prepare our hearts for the arrival of God's blessings. As they stood, enraptured by the cosmic revelation, doubts began drifting away, and faith surged forward like a river, breaking free from its banks. But in the depths of Mary's spirit lingered a question, one that echoed in the hearts of many. Are we ready to receive whatever comes next? Are we open to the fullness he wishes to pour into our lives? The anticipation coiled tightly, like a spring waiting to unleash its energy. The night was pregnant with possibility as they stood united in faith, filled with an urgency for the unfolding mystery yet to come. What would break forth from the heavens in the light of this miraculous call? As the sky continued to blaze with divine light, the atmosphere thickened with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The villagers remained frozen, entranced by the celestial display above them. Jacob, however, seemed to feed off the energy, his youthful exuberance ignited further. Can you feel it? He shouted, his voice ringing with the power of newfound clarity. The love is here. It's reaching for us. It's filling us. The warmth he spoke of wrapped around them, drawing hesitant souls closer together like moths to a flame. Mary looked at her son, her heart swelling with pride. He was no longer just the little boy she had nurtured. He was now a beacon of hope, a vessel of divine promise. Speak, Jacob. Let us know what we must do. Jacob's eyes sparkled as he met the gaze of every villager. The farmers, the artisans, the weary mothers, and the children, all united in anticipation. We must share this love. We must gather our hearts, our stories, and sing together. The world needs us to be brave, to shine like this light above. A hush fell upon the crowd, allowing Jacob's earnestness to penetrate their hearts. Old Mr. Thompson, with wrinkles etched deeply into his weathered face, cleared his throat. And what if we fail, Jacob? What if we don't know how to carry this love? Failure is not our fear, Jacob exclaimed, his passion seeming to swell the very air around them. When we fall, we rise again because love gives us strength. It is in our hearts to keep trying. A soft murmur of agreement began to ripple through the villagers. Mary watched as faces transformed. Mr. Thompson's eyes glimmered with something close to belief, steadfast but hesitant still. Mrs. Turner, too, seemed softer now, the flames of doubt flickering out with each moment of divine enchantment. A collective heartbeat surged as they began to join Jacob in a song, a simple melody that carried warmth like the sun. They raised their voices, and with each note, the sky shimmered a little brighter. Let be known that we are here. Let all heavens witness our faith. Mary cried, the depth of her spirit blending with the joy of the assembly. And as they sang, surrounding communities took notice, drawn to the glow through the trees, their hearts, too, feeling the pull of something sacred. The sound of their combined voice echoed into the night, enveloping them like a protective shield. The villagers began to share their stories, tales of loss, hope, and a longing for a deeper purpose. With each revelation, they released burdens that had weighed heavily for so long, inviting the light to flow through every crack in their hearts. Suddenly, the brilliant flash above them pulsed, intensifying, as if in celebratory response to their faith. The stars twinkled in symphony, and Mary felt a gentle urging in her spirit, one that whispered of transformation. Jacob, she said, a newfound clarity dawning upon her. What do we do when the miracle unfolds? Keep believing, he said, unwavering. Invite everyone. We are to be vessels of love, to spread this warmth to those who still sit lost in darkness. We must shine brightly to illuminate their path. As the villagers nodded, filled with renewed courage, Mary sensed something vital. In moments of potential transformation, the choice for action loomed large. They stood on the threshold of a powerful journey together. In a moment that felt both heavenly and urgent, she realized this was not just about them. It was about generations, about the rhythm of faith resonating throughout their community, reverberating into the heart's longing for purpose. Would they dare to welcome the blessings ahead? Would they rise to be the light for others? The air crackled with anticipation like thunder building in the distance, filled with the promise of something miraculous about to break forth. The villagers clutched their hands together, eyes glistening with faith, ready to face the calling of their hearts, what lies ahead for this community brimming with hope. What miraculous changes await them in the next chapter of their journey together. As the echo of their song lingered in the night, the villagers drew closer together, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the sky above. It was as if the heavens had listened, each star a witness to their shared faith. The air was electric, thick with anticipation, and the sense of a cosmic secret about to unfold weighed heavily upon them. Jacob, Mary said, her voice a whisper against the gentle wind. How do we know what to do next? How do we guide others to this light? By living in love every day, Jacob replied, his earnestness unwavering. Each small act can ripple outwards, affecting those around us. Let our hearts be open. Let kindness be our first step. He turned to the villagers, eyes glowing with a passion that transcended age. We cannot keep this light to ourselves. We must invite our friends, our neighbors, anyone who needs hope. We are the bearers of this transformative love. The villagers murmured, some nodding in quiet agreement, while others puzzled over the enormity of what Jacob was asking. His words began to settle like dew on the grass, each syllable encouraging hearts to bloom. Mrs. Turner, who had always been cautious, felt a spark of boldness stir within her. What if we hold a gathering? Invite everyone from near and far? She suggested, her voice trembling slightly but gaining strength with each word. A day of healing and sharing our stories. Yes, Jacob shouted, his excitement palpable. A day where we stand united in hope. A day to show the world what love truly looks like. As the villagers exchanged glances, a sense of purpose filled the space. Old Mr. Thompson, who had always been hesitant, felt a surge of energy as he recalled the aching loneliness of distance from community. It's true, he said slowly, our pain can connect us. By sharing our struggles, we might together find a path forward. The agreement fluttered through the crowd, sparking identities and convening individual stories into collective purpose. We shall call it the Day of Light, Jacob proclaimed, and they all clapped, feet shuffling joyously over the earth. Yet, Mary sensed the gravity of their task ahead. The day would require courage. Each soul approached had battles unknown, a darkness they often hid beneath their smiles. A thought crept into her mind, a worry filled with doubt, that perhaps they wouldn't know how to reach those still lost. But as she looked up at Jacob, illuminated under the celestial glow, faith washed over her. Love is the guide, she reminded herself. The more they shared that love, the less alone they would feel. In the days that followed, preparations burst into life. Flyers were crafted, meals were planned, and music filled the air. Each villager contributed, awakening old talents long stifled by fear. Children sang joyfully, gathering the attention of every passerby, while the men and women decorated the village square with flowers and ribbons, a vivid invitation to all hearts willing to embrace light. Jacob, grand plans unfolding in his mind, moved like a force of nature. He invited everyone he met, friends and fields, artisans in the town, even those who once felt they belonged nowhere. With each invitation, hope blossomed. Yet, as excitement grew, Mary couldn't shake a lingering thought. What if it doesn't go as we planned? What if not everyone shows? Jacob brushed her concerns aside gently. The destination need not be perfect, dear mother. What matters is that we begin, ready or not. Sometimes taking the first step is where the miracle starts. As the days slipped by, the anticipation mounted like a drum roll in the spirit. With each rising sun, the promise of connection grew stronger, lighting the pathway for their gathering. The villagers could feel change unfurling at the horizon, a bittersweet mix of hope and unknown. What awaited them at the day of light? Would it be a triumph of love or a lesson in faith's patience? The sun rose gently on the morning of the day of light. The village seemed to breathe in unison, each heart beating in anticipation. Mary walked through the streets, her mind filled with prayers. She paused to admire the vibrant decorations, the towering flowers swaying in a breeze, and ribbons fluttering like prayer flags in the wind. Today is special, she thought. Today we open our souls. As villagers gathered in the square, a warmth enveloped them, igniting a collective spirit of hope. Jacob stood at the center, his presence radiating a calm assurance that gave courage to the anxious hearts around him. We are not just here to share our joys, he proclaimed, his voice steady and inviting. We are here to embrace our scars, to show that even in pain, there is beauty. Let us be honest about our struggles, for only then can we truly shine. His words struck deep chords of resonance among them. Many had suffered in silence for too long, each carrying their burdens like heavy stones. Today, they would learn to lift those stones together. As the first participant shared her story, a tale of loss and redemption, the crowd listened intently, hearts opening wide with understanding. Eyes glistened with emotion. The gentle tears shared became a sacred currency, binding them with invisible threads of connection. Mrs. Turner, once hesitant, stood up next. Her voice quivered as she spoke of her fears, her loneliness, and the small acts of kindness she had begun to encounter. Each phrase wrapped her in a tender cloak of acceptance, encouraging others to step up. Our stories, she said, looking around, are what connect us. We're all searching for light. We need each other. This boldness inspired others to share as well. One by one, members of the community stood to reveal pieces of their hearts, illuminating experiences that had once felt too heavy to bear alone. In this sacred space, laughter mingled with tears, and every story wove a rich tapestry of life, a tapestry made stronger by each thread of vulnerability. As more voices joined the chorus of shared experiences, Mary felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her. This is what we were meant to do, she whispered to Jacob, who nodded in agreement, a proud smile spreading across his face. But then a shadow passed by. In the corner of the square, she spotted Father William, an elder of the village known for his stern demeanor. He had remained silently skeptical of these gatherings. Mary's heart raced. Would he join them? Would he share any part of his struggles? Jacob noticed, too, his brow furrowing slightly. Everyone's story matters, he said softly, as if he sensed Mary's concern. Maybe he needs a little more time. Just then, an unexpected hush fell over the crowd. Father William stepped forward, his weathered hands shaking. I've always thought sharing my burdens would show weakness, he began, and the villagers leaned in closer. But I realize now, in this moment, to be part of this community means to be honest about our struggles. His voice trembled, emotions welling up inside him. The crowd held its breath, hanging on every word as William blinked back tears. I have lost my wife. I have struggled with preparing myself for moments of joy among grief. The light shall not shine alone, he declared, until we all stand together. The air crackled with energy. In that moment, the villagers felt the depth of transformation. It was a revelation, a quiet awakening to the power of sharing struggles. As they embraced Father William, a collective sigh of relief filled the square. Their hearts intertwined. They became a living testament to renewal and strength. But deep within Mary, a flicker of uncertainty remained. How would this moment ripple beyond their little village? What step did God want from them next? Would the world outside their square see the light they had ignited? For all that had transpired, it still felt as if they were on the edge of something much greater. The spirit of anticipation soared in her chest, a longing to understand how all the threads would connect. The spark had been ignited, but what awaited them beyond this moment? Would they step into the fullness of God's plan, or would doubt dim their growing light? As the sun climbed higher, casting its golden light over the village square, a newfound energy buzzed among the villagers. They had taken a brave step together, and now they were transformed. Mary watched as laughter and quiet conversations blossomed, mingling with the remnants of the powerful stories shared. It felt like each heart was a candle, glowing brightly in the warm embrace of community. Yet, along with the joy, an unmistakable charge lingered in the air. It was a whisper of destiny, coaxing them deeper into reflection. Mary sensed it, a pull towards something far beyond what they had experienced thus far. Today, Jacob said, drawing everyone's attention once again, is only the beginning. We have shared, we have felt, and we have healed. But what lies ahead? What does God want us to do with this light? His question hung ominously, like the silence before a summer storm. The crowd exchanged glances, contemplating their next steps. It was as if the weight of possibility rested squarely on their shoulders. Each individual could feel an invisible thread weaving them together, urging them toward a greater purpose. Mary felt a shiver run down her spine. What if this moment was indeed a turning point? What if we stepped beyond our square? She mused quietly, yet her heart ached at the thought. Would our light shine next? Perhaps we were called to share a message with others. Someone from the group ventured, sparking a ripple of affirmations. Imagine if we took this hope to the neighboring villages. They, too, may be waiting for a light in their darkness. A soft murmur of excitement swept through the crowd. They could feel a surge of courage blooming within. This was not merely a gathering. It was a foundation for something monumental. They were destined to be vessels of divine connection, spreading the gift of vulnerability and love. But a question began to gnaw at Mary. What if those we reach out to do not accept our light? She whispered to Jacob, who had drawn closer. What if they turn us away? His eyes were warm, yet filled with sincerity as he replied, do we fear the rejection more than we hope for their healing? The call to be true to ourselves is a call to embrace others, regardless of the outcome. In our vulnerability lies the strength of God's love. Mary was silent, absorbing his words. In their willingness to embrace vulnerability, they could become a beacon that ignited faith in others. This was the essence of community, being together in the triumphs and trials, the victories and defeats. She felt a spark of hope begin to grow. As the conversations deepened, laughter burst forth, and plans began to form. Mary suddenly felt an undeniable urge to pray. She stepped back, bowing her head in her own quiet world of reflection. Her heart spoke louder than any words could articulate. "Lord, guide us. Show us the path you have laid out for us." In that moment, a hush fell again over the square, as the villagers sensed Mary's intention. One by one, they too began to bow their heads, joining her in silent prayer, their hearts attuned to the divine rhythm pulsing around them. But just as the spirits surged, a distant rumble echoed across the horizon. The sky darkened momentarily, and a chill danced through the air. Questions blossomed once more, doubt creeping in. Was this a sign of things to come? As the clouds swirled ominously, Mary looked up, her resolve steady. We are to embrace whatever comes, flooding the darkness with our united light. We're not walking alone, are we? A murmur of agreement rolled through the crowd, yet a new layer of uncertainty cloaked their hope. Thus the stage was set. What did the rumble signify? Could it be a divine warning or a prelude to something extraordinary? Whatever lay ahead, they would need the strength of one another and the unyielding faith that had already begun to bloom. The journey had just begun, but what challenges awaited them on this path of divine transformation? As the clouded sky loomed, an electrifying stillness enveloped the village. It felt as if time suspended, holding its breath for an unfolding mystery. Mary could sense the palpable tension of hope laced with uncertainty. She turned to Jacob, who now stood firm, radiating strength amidst the brewing storm. "I've never felt like this before," Mary admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's as if we're on the edge of something vast." Jacob nodded, his expression thoughtful. "This is the moment we've been waiting for, when faith meets the unknown. God often brings us to the threshold of transformation. Through trials, his words hung in the air, shimmering like rays of light through the dark clouds. The villagers gathered tightly, exchanged anxious glances, unsure of what lay beyond this pivotal moment. Yet, in their hearts, the flicker of hope sparked a growing flame. Suddenly, a thunderous crack reverberated across the sky, startling everyone. Uncertainty morphed into fervent curiosity. "Is God speaking?" someone asked with a mix of fear and anticipation. Mary closed her eyes, focusing on the beat of her heart, and felt an urgent urging from within. Perhaps this storm is a reminder that we need to anchor ourselves deeper into the source of our light, she said, her voice infused with conviction. It's not merely about where we shine, but the strength we draw from each other and from God. Before the crowd could respond, a blinding flash illuminated the sky, followed by a gentle rain of soft droplets. The rain mingled with the dust of the square and began to wash away the tension, much like tears cleansing the soul. Laughter bubbled up as the villagers felt the cool relief, soaking into the parched earth, reviving the spirit within them. "This could be a sign," Jacob exclaimed, raising his arms towards the heavens. "A symbol of the Holy Spirit's blessing, cleansing us as we prepare to step forward." As the rain fell steadily, Mary felt invigorated. Each drop felt like a whisper resonating within her being. The doubts she had felt earlier began to wash away too, replaced by a profound sense of unity and purpose. The villagers stood together, no longer individuals facing the unknown, but a collective family, united under their shared faith. "We will carry this light to others," Mary declared, her voice ringing out clearly. "Let's be the hope they yearn for. If we can weather this storm together, we can face anything that comes our way." With that declaration, the villagers joined hands, forming a circle that radiated strength. They looked into each other's eyes, reflecting unwavering faith and shared determination. The storm above was fierce, yet within their circle, a calm serenity settled like a warm blanket. But just as they found strength in unity, a distant voice emerged from the edge of the square. "Fear not, for what lies ahead is greater than what you can imagine." All heads turned, seeking the source of that resonant voice, which echoed with authority yet warmth. What did this divine declaration mean? What awaited them in the days to come? As they pondered the implications of that message, A spark ignited within Mary. Was this the unveiling of God's greater plan? The anticipation crackled in the air, and beneath the calming rain, the villagers felt the stirring of something profound and life-altering just beyond the horizon. What divine revelations would unfold in the days ahead? And what transformation did God have in store for them all? The rain continued to fall gently, each drop a soothing reminder of the promise overhead. The villagers stood intertwined, hearts synchronized in a rhythm of hope. Mary felt the warmth of their shared connection, a bond that fortified their spirits against the tempests above and within. As the voice faded, a gentle wind swept through the square, dancing around them, carrying their whispers of encouragement and prayer into the depths of the stormy clouds. "What do you think it means?" a young boy asked, wide-eyed and innocent, tugging at the hem of his mother's dress. She knelt beside him, her eyes shimmering with love and awe. "It means we are not alone," she replied softly, "that God walks with us, even in the darkest moments." Mary's gaze drifted upward, mesmerized by the sheets of rain cascading. Within those clouds, she felt the divine presence wrapping around them, empowering their every breath. There's power in this moment, she began, calling the villagers' attention. "Together, we are becoming a part of something much bigger than ourselves." Jacob stepped forward, his voice booming with fervor. The voice spoke of a journey, a time of transformation. What if these 40 days are not just for us, but for the world? What if our strength is meant to shine? A chorus of murmurs traveled through the gathering, hearts alight with the possibilities unfolding before them. "We can't just sit idle," someone called out. "We must prepare, spread the word. Others need to know they're not alone either." "Yes," Mary exclaimed, echoing the growing excitement. "Let us reach out. We can gather together at the end of each day, share our prayers, our dreams, and our visions. The more we share, the more His light can illuminate the darkness in our lives and in our community." With renewed determination, the villagers formed smaller groups, their voices mixing harmoniously in the rainy air. Some held hands while others embraced. They spoke of hope and renewal, of stories long dormant that now boiled within, eagerly awaiting a chance to sprout. As darkness loomed, the clouds offered a different kind of light. Thunder rumbled softly in the background, echoing the excitement and urgency thrumming in their hearts. "I can feel it," Jacob said, his smile radiant as he looked at Mary. "The earth itself is awakening beneath us. We are being called to action, to love deeper, and to trust fundamentally." Mary felt her spirit glow with each word exchanged. Unity became their mantra, and as they turned to share their stories, hope swelled in their hearts. They took turns speaking of their personal struggles and the strength they found in each other. It was a powerful testament to the tale of faith they were all woven into. Suddenly, as if to punctuate their gathering, a bright flash of light lit up the darkened sky, illuminating the faces around her, casting shadows of reverence on the ground. The unmistakable presence of the divine, sensed in that moment, made everyone pause. "His light is here," Mary whispered, enveloping her. "We have to be ready to embrace whatever comes next, ready to be His vessels." The villagers nodded, eyes sparkling with renewed faith. They understood that the next 40 days would not be ordinary. They would be a pilgrimage of sorts, one of steadfast faith and unwavering dedication. A crack of thunder resounded, yet this time it felt like a declaration, a cosmic affirmation that their journey was about to begin. What will be revealed in this divine orchestration? Mary pondered silently. What awaited them beyond this moment of devotion and unity? As she scanned the faces of her fellow villagers, she felt an exhilarating tremor course through her. They stood together on the precipice of something monumental, and as the rain began to ease, a sense of expectation lingered in the air. They had just taken the first steps into an extraordinary journey, guided by faith. But what awaited them on the other side? The final day had arrived, casting a golden hue over the village as dawn broke, illuminating the faces of the faithful. Mary gazed upon the now familiar sight. The villagers gathered in the square, each heart pulsating with expectation. Excitement tingled in the air, a divine promise lingering over them like fragrant incense. "Today is our day of light," Jacob announced, standing amid the community like a beacon of hope. His voice resonated, stirring a sacred anticipation within everyone. "We have come this far together, united by our stories, by love. Now, it's time to embrace the transformation God has set before us." Tears shimmered in Mary's eyes. All the fears, the doubts, had led to this moment a conclusion tinged with the anticipation of a new beginning. Today, they would step into their purpose, intertwined by faith, ready to spread their light. As the sun rose higher, more villagers arrived. Each one brought a piece of their struggle, be it a burden, a healing, or a story of hope. They clung to the warmth radiating within the circle, an electric compassion that filled the spaces between them. "Let us remember our brother Jacob's words," Mary called out, her heart swelling. "We are not just here for ourselves, but for those beyond our village walls. We carry God's love to the world." The villagers erupted with fervor, voices overlapping in agreement, echoing like waves against the shore. They shared their visions, their dreams painted vividly, each stroke resonating with an urgency to act. They envisioned healing gatherings in neighboring villages, art festivals laced with stories of restoration, and prayer vigils that would shine through the darkness in every heart. With each idea proposed, Mary watched the faces around her transform. Once restrained souls now glowed with conviction. Doubt melted away, replaced by sheer belief in their mission. "Let us take what we have learned and bring it to all who need hope," Jacob urged. "We step out boldly, unafraid of our vulnerability, ready to weave connections with others. We will be his vessels." A ripple of laughter and applause erupted, the tears of joy falling like rain within the circle, a baptism of sorts, cleansing doubt and embracing possibility. The villagers grasped each other as hands. No one stood alone, each life entwined in a sacred family bond. And just as they closed the circle of prayer, a miracle unfolded before their eyes. Blossom-laden branches began to sway atop the trees surrounding the square, shedding petals as if welcoming spring. The air filled with a sweet fragrance, reminiscent of rebirth and divine assurance. "I can feel his presence," Mary whispered to Jacob, her heart swelling with gratitude. "This is the confirmation we needed." As the petals fell like confetti, laughter erupted. Children danced, twirling to the rhythm of the joy flooding their souls, while the elders smiled knowingly, witnessing the unfolding glory of God's promise fulfilled. High above, the sun broke through the clouds, bathing them in golden rays. It was a spotlight, illuminating their purpose, urging them to move forward with courage. "Raise your voices," Jacob shouted, galvanizing everyone into song. The melodies carried high into the heavens, transforming individual notes into a hymn of the collective heart. "Together we are whole," Mary sang, her voice harmonizing beautifully with those gathered around her. "Together we shine." As the music swelled, villagers began to share more than just personal stories. They shared names of neighbors, friends, and strangers waiting just outside their circle, people who might need a touch of their light. "I want to bring Maria," called out a woman, her eyes sparkling. "She has been struggling with grief." "And let us not forget old Mr. Thompson," added another, a hint of mischief in their tone. "He has got a heart beneath that grisly exterior." The call for participation bloomed a spirit fueled by love, as they all took responsibility to welcome those beyond their boundaries. "Let us take this light into our neighborhoods," Jacob urged. "Wherever we go, let it be known that hope is alive. We will not shy away from the darkness, but face it with faith." The crowd surged with energy, determination wrapping around each heart. The Day of Light had transformed from just an event to a divine calling, a movement that sent ripples of faith and love into the world. As they encircled one another again in prayer, Mary felt an inexplicable peace wash over her, an assurance that they would fulfill this mission together. The journey ahead would not always be easy, but they had discovered their strength in vulnerability, their light ignited through unity. United, they would face whatever storms lay ahead. In that moment, Mary took a deep sigh, grateful for the journey, excited for the path yet to unfold. She looked up to the now clear sky, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face. "Lord, send us forth with your blessing," she whispered. "We know that our transformation has just begun." With their hearts alight and souls intertwined, they stepped into the world ready to embrace the mission, armed with unwavering faith, determination, and love. As they walked forward, they carried the message echoing in their hearts. Hope is here. So long as they believe, their light would guide others home. Now is the time for you to ignite that same light. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this message of hope. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. Let your voice be heard. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of divine love. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true servants of God understand the importance of lifting each other up